100 of learning how to draw with Artsy. What's up, everybody? I hope everyone's doing well. And for the past 100 days, I have been drawing every single day, without exception, to try and learn. Am I going to stop after 100? Definitely not. But I thought because it's a special milestone of reaching triple digits, I would do a little sketchbook recap, I guess is the best thing, to show how much I've improved. Because honestly, I think I've improved a lot. So with that, I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's get into it. Day number 1. You might be like, what could you have possibly drawn on day number 1? What masterpiece could have come in from your hands? Shapes. Basically, I think my mindset when I was starting was like, I just want to learn a bunch of basic shapes, do a bunch of practice, and that led to this absolute masterpiece of a brain dump, which I somehow cooked like perspective with. Like I see over here, I got some level of like 3D perspective. You got a bunch of faces, a bunch of people doing stuff, a bunch of face practice. It was in 30 minutes, by the way, which I laughed at when I saw it for the first time when I went back, because I can do so much better, so much faster now. But you know, it's day 1, so you might be like, what masterpiece can you do on day 2? More line practice, nothing crazy. In day 3, I did basically the same thing. But however, important, if you've followed me for a while, you may know that the banner of this channel was made on day 3. Little Penguin. He doesn't have a name, but you know, he's the GOAT. He's been with me since the beginning, and he won't leave. He's staying as my banner for the rest of eternity. So then you got day 4, which is when I started practicing perspective for the first time, really, because I heard cubes are really good to draw. I still struggle at drawing cubes, I can't lie. But first day practicing, little guy over there who I drew. And I guarantee, I'm gonna give you guys a few seconds to guess who this is supposed to be, because I want to try drawing curve for the first time. It was like a really basic anime head tutorial that I saw online. I'll give you guys 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is supposed to be 100 hunters. This is supposed to be Kilowatt. You know, it was cooked. I didn't know how to draw eyes at all. Let's just go. I don't want to talk about this. It was a bad day. So then, day 6, my first time trying to do head practice. I did this with no guide, by the way, and it was just, you know, it's rough. It's rough out here. Day 7, more cube practice, trying to get perspective for this. I think this is when I generally tried to learn perspective for the first time. Just drawing cubes, practicing and whatnot. And that was the end of the first week, sorry. Day 8, more line practice, and then day 9 is when I started doing series on this channel for the first time. Day 9 was Pokemon week, if I remember, the start of Pokemon week, where I drew my 6 favorite Pokemon, because I know Pokemon designs are relatively simple, and I think are good for practicing, at least in my mind, as someone who's new to drawing. So, when I started doing this, I started with my favorite Pokemon, Victini, which somehow turned out to be one of the better ones, because the proportions were really easy. And if you couldn't tell by day 10, it was cooked. Shout out Hitstick, because proportions are off. I didn't have colored pencils at the time, so I had to draw in the colors with a blue and a black pen. It didn't go that well, if you couldn't tell. But then, you got to the rest of them. You got Gengar up here, which I think turned out really well, but Gengar's design is actually really simple. So, you got Walrein, which, you know, I think the body, if you just look from, like, the head down, you cover this. It looks pretty good, right? It looks pretty good in the mouth. I don't know what happened here. Couldn't tell ya. Garchomp, I think he turned out okay. A little chunky, my little chunky boy. Got ate a little too much. And then Tinkaton, which I don't know how I cooked so hard with this, but Tinkaton turned out really well. However, only problem, I drew her body too big, so I couldn't finish the hammer because it was starting to approach on Garchomp. So in my mind, it's just my Garchomp is so heavy that he has to stand on Tinkaton's hammer, and she had to get rid of the top part so he could stand on it. That's my headcanon at least. If another artist wants to draw that, that'd be really funny. And then also on day 14, I started my first ever series on this channel, which is the Lucky Wheel, where I would take comment suggestions, put it on a wheel, and then spin the wheel, and then draw whatever the wheel landed on, right? And then the first one I got was fun enough from my friend Pierce, who's also an artist. Please check him out. Cool guy. Love this dude. But I got Luffy, and I knew ahead of time that there was no way I could draw Luffy proportions, especially if I wanted to draw like a dynamic one. So I was like, let me just draw this one poster, because I feel like that'd be easier. And honestly, it ended up turning pretty well. I think the only thing I really messed up on here was the hand, but as you'll see later, this is probably one of the better hands I've ever drawn, somehow. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why, ask me how. I don't want to talk about it. Day 15 was more line practice, and then you went to day 16 and 17. Oh, hit my camera, whoops. Which is where I started my second ever series on this channel, Draw the Shot. I should probably bring that back. I love this. Because I was watching a lot of anime from the winter season at the time, and Free Ren was my favorite, and I thought this shot of her sleeping was hilarious, so I wanted to replicate it. So I spent the first, I think day 16 doing like the overall sketch of it, overall outline, and then day 17 I did the colors in a little more detail, with like the drool and whatnot. So then you take that, right? And you go to the next day, day 18, where I did the Lucky Wheel again. You can ignore this, it comes back later. You can ignore this round, day 34. Well, actually, no, don't ignore that, because day 44, I did another Lucky Wheel, but besides that, day 18, this is probably the top 5 drawing I've ever done. Don't understand, this was probably the first time I looked at a drawing after I was finished, I was like, wow, I'm impressed with myself. I did not know I could do this. I drew Knuckle from Hunter x Hunter, and, you know, I still to this day don't know how I got him looking this accurate. I still struggle with drawing eyes, and somehow I cooked absolutely perfect with this one. Don't ask me how. But day 34, I drew another Lucky Wheel, drew a little paper crane. Important because I know I go back and forth in this notebook a lot, so I really don't plan on doing it in day order. I wanted to. I'm gonna try and follow day order, but you know, it's good. We're gonna see some things that are not in order. Just want to warn you guys now. This flipped. So the next day, 19 and 20, is when the JJK Maki episode came out, and I really wanted to draw this specific shot. As an anime only, I was so shocked watching this episode. It was peak, I can't lie. And you know, looking back, I'm not mad at how this turned out. Only thing is, I made Maki's head a bit fat. She had too much to eat that day. I don't know what happened. The hand, we don't talk about this hand. I also don't know what's happening here. But you know, besides that, I think this turned out pretty well. I can't lie. For this being day 19 and 20, I think that's pretty good. And then you go, whoop, you flip it. Sorry. Then you got day 21, which was another lucky wheel, and I got Pizza Cat from Battle Cats, I think what the game is called. Never played it, never heard of it. But you know, simple drawing, can't complain. Day 22 is when I tried to do head practice again, and we can just skip that. We don't gotta talk about that. Day 23 was more head practice, and I do not know what tutorial I watched. I can move this up so you guys can see better. Can I move the keyboard? Can you move for a sec? Thank you. And then move this up here. There you go. Day 23, more head practice. As you can see, it turned out very well. And then day 24, I got a lucky wheel, which is Rudo. And I just want to say, I got asked to draw Rudo between TikTok and YouTube probably about 5 different times, which is by far the most a character's ever been asked for me to draw. I didn't know Gachi Akata was loved like that, but hey, shout out that, because I love that show. And Rudo is probably one of my favorite characters. I don't know. I gotta think about it. I'll just think about it. If you can see, day 31, I drew Bochi. As you can see, I skipped around a bit. And really, if I couldn't find open space during the day, this is what I would do. And then day 25, more head practice. Nothing crazy. Day 26, I got lucky wheel number 5, which was Kirby. And you know, Kirby's really easy thing to draw, like very simple shapes, so wasn't anything too difficult. And then this is day 29, 30. Is this 27? No, this is 20. We can go this way. So yeah, day 27, and this is probably the first video I had to like pop off on both TikTok and YouTube, was when I drew Furuba? No, not Furuba. Futa? No. What's this person's name? Hashtag LARP. No, I'm joking. I didn't LARP. I love Fabuda. It is Fabuda. There you go. Fabuda. It's not Fabuta. I don't know. English. But this is probably one of the first ones I got commented on, and I was very happy with it. You know, small details I still really need to work on, like the flowers, you know, looking like on the rocks and little flower petals in the sky. But I think overall, the main part of the body and the light that was in this specific scene, which is mind, I think the last scene of season 2. I think it literally is the last scene of season 2. Was this? So I was very happy with that. Turned out very well. And then that's day 35. So we can come back to that. That's day 35, 37. Drew clicker for another lucky wheel, and this is when I tried to learn color shading for the first time, because of color theory. Never went back to that, by the way, because, you know, not that good. So we can skip this, we go back to that later. You got day 32 and 33, which was when Face Rage Fake was starting to come out during the season as well, same as Free Run. And I drew Tine on day 32 and Gilgamesh on day 33. Tine, you know, I think if you just looked from the head down, solid, not the best. Head up, we're talking about that. Gilgamesh though, Gilgamesh I did really well on. I think because he had a more like rigid design per se. I think at the time I still wasn't the best at drawing like facial angles, but I think Gilgamesh I did really well on, so I was happy with that. And then, you know, you skip around a bit because you got 32, 33. So then you go back, I think, to the paper crane. You got day 31, Shibochi, as I said. Yeah, so you go back, so, you know, day 30s. The 30s I skipped around a lot, I can't lie. So I think I covered most of it? Like, this day 30, yeah. So this is day 38, where I started trying to practice body poses for the first time. And, you know, I never really made videos on this, but I do have a crap ton of, like, little notes. There's, like, in separate, like, Word docs and whatnot. I can share those if you guys want, for little every notes I take. And this is the one I first, like, did handwritten, but that stuff I really don't show. Like, the research aspect and the learning aspect, I don't show that much. Funny enough for a how to learning guide. And then day 39, which was more line practice, very simple. Day 40, I got another lucky wheel spin, which a guy, I thought it was really hard to see, but a guy just asked for a stick figure of a sword. So I thought it'd be really funny if I just do like a tiny stick figure and drew a big sword, so I drew Cloud Strife sword. And then day 41 and 42, this was actually the exact days that the Witch of the Holy Night anime trailer came out. And I know you guys don't know me yet, but that is my favorite visual novel of all time, and probably a top 10 game I've ever played. I love that story so much. And I drew Aozaki, who was one of the main characters, and I think, you know, similar to the rest of my stories, if you just blanked out the face, not bad. Not, you know, looks solid. I think you can see the hair, looks good, and then you got the face. And you can see where I messed up, because when I was sharpieing, right, I drew the eyes too close, so what I wanted to do is separate the eyes and draw like that, and make the face a little larger. But then when I sharpied in, my pencil cut, and I said, and I was like, oh, didn't want to do that. So then that ended up messing up the whole drawing, and I was really upset about that. That was day 41 and 42. You got day 43, which is lucky wheel number 10, and this viewer wanted Dipper. And Dipper is really easy to draw, like, I can't lie. This took me like maybe 5 minutes speed running. And then I know hard to see. Day 44, more cubes, nothing crazy. Day 45, I didn't expect this video to blow up as much as it did, but you know, the Undertale / Deltarune community is very strong. I also streamed it on my gaming channel, which would be linked in my bio if you want to check that out. But Tenna, love this character. Probably a top, give or take, 3 to 5 character in Deltarune for me. He was so funny, made me laugh every single time he was on screen. So, love that dude. And then you got this drawing. And this is the first original sketch that I ever did, and I came back to it a lot on days 46, 49, and 50. So, and then 62 as well. So 46 was like the first original sketch, but I think it was really just the girl aspect of it. And then 49 was the wall. So 49 was this part that I added, the like sidewalk, little like wall area ledge. And I wanted to leave this part open so it looked like you could walk around to get to the beach, if that makes sense. And then day 50 was the actual beach parts, and turtle. I drew this little, I think this must be a bird, but I thought it was funny, so I turned it into a penguin. Little penguin standing next to her crab. Drew a little beach towel with umbrella. I tried to make it so the umbrella would look like more 3D, I guess that makes sense. But it didn't really turn out that well out of the parking lot. So yeah, and then you went to day 47 and 48, which was the lucky one number 12. And I remember what these characters. There's no Game No Life main characters, which I watched forever ago. This show needs a season 2, just for nostalgia purposes. I'm forgetting these guys' names, but drew these guys. You know, I didn't color it in because I wasn't happy with the faces or like the body proportions. Like I do his hands way too big, and I was just not feeling that at all. So then day 49 was more line sketches. We're going to try and do more perspective-based cube sketches. So I did 2 point and 1 point, and then day 51 did it again, 2 point, 1 point. And then, where's day 50? This might have also been day 50. One of these might have been day 50 as well. Because I don't think my journal doesn't start till when? It doesn't start till, yeah, 56. So day 50 is in here somewhere. Don't know where. Then you got day 52, which ended up being David from one of my favorite anime, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Peak show. If you somehow have not watched it, please give it a watch. And this one really upset me because paper ripped constantly. Because I was putting too much pressure on it for how soft and like low, not say low quality, but how weak this paper is. So it ripped several times, so it's messed up some of the lines. You can see the nose had to be erased several times to make fit. The mouth literally doesn't exist because there's a hole there. So yeah. And then 53 was a cube snake, because this one I was trying to learn, let's say perspective. What? I'm blanking. But there's a reason shadings there. Because the cube exercise, it was supposed to be like each time you draw a cube, you want it to be a different like perspective, I think, if that makes sense. So you just go around, and eventually you just stop whenever you want. So cube snake. This was 54, and this is actually, if I remember, the day or the day after the Higuruma part in JJK started. So tried to draw him. Didn't go well at all, if you couldn't tell. I stopped drawing it early because I was like, this looks so bad. I was so mad at myself. I was like, why did I have to draw this? But you know what? I'll give myself grace. The hand looks really good. Somehow. Even though I still suck at drawing hands. Somehow for this, just this once, the hand looked good. And that takes us to, what, day 55? Which was kind of like a joke episode, because if I remember, I was really busy this day. And Tang Tang had just, or was like getting promoted, or was just released. I don't remember which one, from Arknights Endfield. So I just drew like her face in like very low detail. I gave her like a really fat body with a little, you know, her weapon. And somehow this video did really well because it just looked so goofy. So then, right, and day 56, if I remember, day 56, somehow, some way, was one of my better drawings ever. I drew Manhattan Cafe. Or not, what, where's 56? Oh, sorry, that's day 60. Now I gotta go here. I think I did day 56, yeah. So, tiny journal, I was traveling around this time. So, I think I was on an airplane when I did this. When I did this part. So, you know, more body proportions, the thinking, leaning over, sitting, yada yada. 57, tried to do eyes for the first time. This is completely random, no like guide or anything. And then face structure again. And then, if I remember, yeah. So then, day 58, just did more body sketches. And I'd say, from like day 50 to day 60, 65 was probably when I had like my biggest growth and improvement, I would say. So, you know, did more body poses. Just like a quick 10-minute sketch I did. And then, yeah. So that's that from that. And we come back. And I drew this. This is probably a top, give or take, top 3 drawing I've ever done. Lucky one number 12, I drew Manhattan Cafe from Uma Musume. Shadow, I love Uma Musume. Do not get me started on that. And then day 62, I drew a ton of cubes. I'm trying to get back in the groove, try to do a little more like stacking up cubes on top of each other. Do this little pose, you know, look not that good. Day 6, I don't. I couldn't tell you what happened on day 63. Day 63 just disappeared, unless I did something else. I don't know. But Arknights Endfield has a very funny Chen emote, so I was like, it'd be really funny if I just drew myself doing an emote. You know, if I ever blow up on Twitch, this will be one of the emotes I use. Only lore people are gonna be able to use it though. And I also did some hand practice. This was probably the first time I practiced hands. You know, didn't turn out that bad. It was alright. Next day, 65, did Lucky Roll 14, which was Neon Cat. Well, actually, that's not true. Originally, so one of my viewers is named Cat in Space on my Twitch, and she was just like, draw me. So I was like, okay, what's a cat in space? Neon Cat. Boom. Problem solved. And then day 66 was a random sketch that ended up becoming my first original character. My first named original character, if that makes sense. Because in the video, I was like, give her a name, and the most popular one was Bello. Yep, most standout feature, she has a beanie. It's hard to see because I didn't erase this part, but arms, I think the arms are like the worst part I did because they look like flat. The arms aren't supposed to look flat, you know? Day 67, I drew a biblically accurate angel, which is the part of the Mother Lucky Wheel. Day 68, I drew more hand practice. And then you come back here for day 69. In day 69, I drew a ton of like different body poses attempted. Yeah, you can skip ahead a bit. Bello got a redesign because this was one of the original body poses that I drew, and I was like, it'd be really funny if I turned Bello into one of them. That was day 69 and 70. This is day 68, by the way. Then day 71 was probably, I don't know how I did this. I wanted to draw someone sitting, so this was the first attempt, right? And then I just locked in, I guess, on the second attempt. Like, these do not look the same at all, not even close. So I don't know what happened with that. And then day 72 and 73, more poses, more practice poses. This one is like the hand, more like little poses. Day 73, and then I'll blank this out because that's probably my best drawing I've ever done. But day 73, last rough sketch, just drew a little like pose, you know. I'll block out that for now. When did I return this? Yeah. So then this was day 71. I drew Iggy from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which, you know, funny enough, I'm about to dox myself here a little bit. I've only watched Stardust Crusaders. And you might be like, how? It's because I walked in on my older brother watching it, and I was like, that looks really cool. Let me sit down and watch it with him. So have not returned to watch the rest of JoJo's. Have not seen part 1, part 2, any of that. Day 74, went back to more cube practice, more perspective. And this just happens way in the future. So I'll go back to that a little later. We'll sneak peek. Because then, yeah, for outside. Day 73, sorry, go back a little bit. Also drew Asa from my favorite winter anime, Journal of Witch. Incredible show, by the way. Cannot get enough of it. And then day 75, I drew low cortisol Agnes Tachyon, because so many people after my hand cafe video wanted me to draw Agnes. So I was like, it'd be really funny if I drew a low cortisol one. So, yeah. And then on day 76, I went back and drew this masterpiece. Don't ask, seriously, I do not know how I drew this so well. I have not been able to draw this well since. It's low-key making me mad, because I'm like, how could I not draw this well? Make it make sense. And then you got day 77, which I tried to replicate the pose I drew on day 72, but I kind of made like a self-portrait of myself. And, you know, it turned out, okay, alright. Could be better, could be worse. And then day 78, I was just not locked, I can't lie. I don't, like, all the skill I had gained was lost on these drawings. I don't know what happened. Besides this one, for some reason. Last drawing of day 78 turned out pretty good. Day 79, I reached 100 subs on YouTube, so I was really happy with that. Redrew Bello in more like goofy style. Tried to do like a Luffy smile, if that makes sense. So redrew Bello. And then day 80, I think is when I really like truly somewhat locked in. I drew Kumiko and Reina from Sound Euphonium, because I had finished watching it around this time. Incredible show. I know so many people have not seen this, but genuinely, so emotional, so good. Can't get enough of it. And then day 81, I lost all my skill from yesterday, and just drew these quick little doodles. I think they were like 5-minute doodles each, nothing too crazy. And then we go back to the big journal. No, wait, what happened? I don't know where day 82 and 83 went. That's weird. I don't know where those went. But this is day 84, more body poses, really rough sketches. You can't lie, not my best work. And then day 85, I tried to do like more body poses. This turned out pretty alright. And then day 86, I was really inspired by this person on TikTok, and I tried to replicate one of their artworks. As you can see, did not go well at all. It looks awful. Trash! And then day 87, I genuinely, one day I want to go back and finish this, because I think, like, if you cut this part, this looks really good. This looks really good. And then you see the other eye, and you're like, ugh, what happened? And then this was when I discovered Sora-chan on TikTok, and I really like their artwork, so I tried to replicate one of theirs art, because I wanted one like face angles and whatnot. And then these are like more as I did. Day 87 just was like a quick drawing, just a little girl doing boom. And then day 88, drew this one, little back angle, little neck turn, the flame on me. And then more on day 88, if I could go back, I would erase these legs, because I tried to draw a dress, and you like see the legs of the dress, and not supposed to happen. And then day 88, just last quick drawing, just the girl saying bye, you know, nothing crazy. Day 88, tried to draw like an upwards angle, and I tried to replicate, where is she? The elf girl from this day, 85. You know, made her eyes closed this time, so yeah. And then day... Is this? Okay, well this is day 86 or 85, so I skipped that, but drew this guy from JoJo's. Honestly, I'll be so real, this video was made purposely to LARP because I was staying with my friend. My friend came over to visit me, and he was like, it'd be really funny if we made a drawing video LARPing JoJo's. Coming out now. The video did surprisingly well. Well, not even surprising, because, you know, JoJo. And then day 90, come back, I drew Foss from Land of Illustrious, because, I don't know, I didn't even watch, like, I watched the show years ago, but just, like, started appearing on my For You page again, and I was like, I really like this show. So let me go back. And then day 91 is I started doing eye practice, like IV practice. So watch the tutorials on TikTok, and then practiced. And then again, watch the tutorials, practice, full body practice. And then this was for Tomodachi Life, which I just finished. Or Tomodachi Game, sorry. That's anime. More eye practice, more angles. And then day 92, I drew this like quick body, and the legs are really skinny. If I would go back, I'll make these legs a lot bigger. And then this one was really funny because I was doodling in class, and I did the princess, right? And my friend who saw me doodling was like, yo, let me draw with you. So I was like, okay. So I hand him the notebook, and he just hands me back this. And I was like, this is so funny. I'm like, had me dying in class. So, you know, brother and sister, the duo. And that takes you back to here, day 93, where I drew Komi from Komi-san Can't Communicate, because it was suggested by a viewer. Because this is when I made the video saying I was going to stop taking suggestions, because it was too much. But this viewer had been commenting for like since the beginning, so I was like, maybe your last suggestion and having be Komi. So did that. And then continued that, following that masterpiece. Day 94, we don't talk about. I didn't do well. Day 94, we don't talk about, because I tried to draw that day. I had no motivation whatsoever. So then day 95, I drew... I'm blanking on the girl's name, but it's from Cosmic Princess Kaguya. Aroha, I think her name is. And she was so funny in that movie. Like, it really sparked the motivation for me to draw. And I did more eye practice, because I was like... After I finished, I was like, I really need to work on my eyes. And then you can see that drawing, which I just did recently, because Aaron Attack on Titan. Then day 96 I didn't draw at all, but day 97 I came back and did this anime, which I actually just finished yesterday, Girls Last Tour, the 2 main girls. And oh my god, this show was so sad. And I read the manga afterwards, and oh my jeez, like, these characters lived, right? If you know the story, these characters lived. Promise me, they lived. So in day 98, I came back and I drew Eren from Attack on Titan, because this day I finished Attack on Titan for those that know anime only over here, finished Attack on Titan for the first time. Did that. And then today, which is the day I'm filming for day 100, I did this. So, you know, finish that. And then tomorrow I'm gonna have a short form post for day 100 as well. So yeah, that's that. That's how much I've improved since the beginning. I hope you guys enjoyed. And comment down below if you started your own journey. If you have any tips for me, let me know. And I appreciate if you watched this far. Thank you, because I'd be really surprised if people watch this far. 30-minute long video about someone yapping about their 100 days of sketching with very little editing. So thank you for that. And I will catch you guys next time. Thank you guys for all the support. Much love. Hope you have a great day and or night, whatever time you're seeing this. Stay blessed. And yeah, thank you guys for the support. Deuces.